అందరికీ నమస్కారం. సో నేను రాహుల్ మామూలుగా ఒక ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఇస్తే మేము డైరెక్ట్ చేసిన సినిమాలకి ప్రమోషన్కి పబ్లిసిటీకి వస్తాం, లేదా ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు ఏదో ఒక ఆబ్లిగేషన్ మీద వస్తాం. కానీ ఇవాళ ఎవరూ అడగకుండా మేమిద్దరము దూరిపోయి మేమే ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేస్తామని చెప్పి వచ్చాము. ఎందుకంటే మేమిద్దరం చూసిన సినిమా పేరు చెప్పండి సార్.
తెలుగు టైటిల్ చెప్పాలి కదా.
తెలుగు టైటిలే కదా సార్.
సప్త సాగరాలు దాటి.
సప్త సాగరాలు దాటి అనే ఒక అద్భుతమైన సినిమాని అఫ్ కోర్స్ మేమిద్దరం కన్నడలో చూసాము, మళ్ళీ తెలుగులో కూడా చూడబోతున్నాము.
100%.
అండ్ ఈ సినిమా వెనకాల ఉన్న ఒక ముగ్గురు అద్భుతమైన వ్యక్తులతో ఇవాళ మాట్లాడబోతున్నాం. అండ్ బేసిక్లీ వీ హ్యావ్ బికమ్ ఫ్యాన్స్ ఆఫ్ ద మూవీ. సో మా ఫీలింగ్స్ ఏంటి అని వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడుతూ మూవీ గురించి కూడా మీ అందరికీ తెలియజేద్దామని ప్లాన్.
ఎస్.
ఓకే,
సో సైడ్ బి సైడ్ ఏ కూడా చెప్పేద్దాం.
సైడ్ బి సైడ్ ఏ కూడా చెప్పేద్దాము. సినిమా యాక్చువల్ గా 2 parts లో ఉంది, సైడ్ ఏ అండ్ సైడ్ బి. సో మా ఇంటర్వ్యూ కూడా టెక్నికల్ గా సైడ్ ఏ సైడ్ బి చేయాలి అని ఫస్ట్ 20 minutes స్పాయిలర్ ఫ్రీ అది ఫస్ట్ రిలీజ్ చేస్తాం. సినిమా రిలీజ్ అయ్యాక రాహుల్ దూరిపోయి చాలా టెక్నికల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగబోతున్నాడు.
సినిమా గురించి చాలా మాట్లాడాలనిపించింది. సినిమా అంటే స్పాయిలర్స్ వద్దు అన్నారు, మరి సినిమా గురించి మాట్లాడాలంటే చూసిన సినిమా ఎలా అన్నా. సో అప్పుడు నందిని గారు క్రియేటివ్ ఇన్స్టింక్ట్స్ వాడి సైడ్ ఏ సైడ్ బిలా చేద్దాం అన్నారు. సో సైడ్ ఏ విల్ బీ మోర్ ఫర్ పీపుల్ హూ హ్యావెంట్ సీన్ ద ఫిల్మ్, అండ్ సైడ్ బి ప్లీజ్ వాచ్ యాజ్ సూన్ యాజ్ యూ వాచ్ ద ఫిల్మ్.
సో ఇప్పుడు 3 minutes మేము ఆల్రెడీ తినేసాం కాబట్టి ఇప్పుడు మన గెస్ట్ ని ఇంట్రొడ్యూస్ చేద్దాం. రాహుల్, వుడ్ యు ప్లీజ్?
ఎస్, ప్లీజ్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు సే హాయ్.
ఎవరో చెప్పరా?
తెలీదా? Rakshit Shetty. We have with us the superstar of Kannada's new age cinema today, the poster boy of Kannada new age cinema, Rakshit Shetty with us. And we have the amazing, this is your second film, right?
Yes.
We have the amazing Rukmini Vasanth. నేను amazing అని ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నాను, ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ ఇది అండర్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అని సినిమా చూసాక మీరు అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు. అండ్ వీ హ్యావ్ హేమంత్, ద రైటర్ అండ్ ద డైరెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫిల్మ్. సో ప్లీజ్ సే హాయ్ ఎవ్రీబడి.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, to start off, how are you guys doing in Hyderabad? How does it feel to have the film now dubbed and released in? Asal first of all, Kannadalo, how was the response? I want to talk about that first.
Amazing response, because I mean, see, every film, especially the kind of films I do, when we release it, we are very curious to see what kind of a market we are, this will flourish into.
Right.
Because to be frank, like something like Sapta Saagaralu Dhati has not come in Kannada for a very long time.
Right.
There are many love stories which has come, but not like Sapta Saagaralu Dhati, not in this.
నాకైతే ఏ
It's not
లాంగ్వేజ్
come in any language for a very unique film.
Yeah, but I think one thing is because of my other films, and this somehow they trust. There is so much trust in Hemanth. There is so much trust in me that these guys get together. They will do something for sure, which won't be disappointing.
Right.
So I think that trust, and to be frank, we have decided that we are not going to publicize like in a big way for this film, because this is going to be a very small, slow poison, and it has to start slowly and then start spreading, and then we'll see if it crosses the border as well.
Right.
So that was the initial idea. Probably, if we had done too much of publicity, then we would have got the audience who this is not their film probably. So the word of mouth might be coming out as very mixed things like that. So there are some people who will take some time to understand this film, and people who go by their heart will catch the pulse of the film pretty fast.
Right.
And yeah, so now we have crossed Karnataka, and now we knew, we've been talking that I'm sure Andhra will be the first place where it will travel to, because Charlie has done extremely well in Telugu, and we always consider this is the land of cinema, because cinema is a culture here.
Correct.
ఇక్కడ సినిఫైల్స్ కి మీకు ఒక పెద్ద ఫ్యాన్ ఫాలోయింగ్ ఉంది ఫర్ రక్షిత్. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ ఆల్ ద 3 Shettys, ఇంకా షెట్టి రెవల్యూషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిందే రక్షిత్ అక్కడ, హూ ఆర్ చేంజింగ్ ద ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ కన్నడ సినిమా. అండ్ నిజంగా మీరు అక్కడ చేసే సినిమాలు నిజంగా మాకు ఇన్స్పిరేషన్. సమ్ టైమ్స్ వీ ఫీల్ లిటిల్ అషేమ్డ్ ఆల్సో దట్ వీఆర్ నాట్ డూయింగ్ యాజ్ వెల్, బట్ ఇట్స్ లైక్ అ వేకప్ కాల్, డూ సంథింగ్ బెటర్, ట్రై సమ్ బెటర్ స్టోరీ టెల్లింగ్ అనేది.
యాక్చువల్లీ మీరు చెప్పారు కదా, ఇలా ఈ సినిమా మేము ఎక్కువ పబ్లిసిటీ చేయలేదు, ఈ సినిమా కావాలనే అలా కంటైన్డ్గా రిలీజ్ చేద్దామని. After delivering a 100 crore hit, I mean, Charlie did 100 crores worldwide is what I heard. there must have been a massive temptation to sort of ఆ మార్కెట్ని కన్సాలిడేట్ చేద్దాం, మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ సినిమా కూడా 100 కాదు ఇంకో 150 చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి టెంప్టేషన్స్ ఉండుంటాయి కదా. హౌ ఆర్ యూ సో అన్కరప్టెడ్? I mean, first of all, for you to pick this film after 100 crore hit, to play this character after 100 crore hit, any hesitation? Nothing at all?
No, I don't see cinema or life as in that perspective. I want to be, I want to do good films.
Right.
And I know when if it is about mass commercial and about making money, making big project, I'm going to do that.
Correct.
Next. Correct. So irrespective of how much this film has done or my previous film has done, I'm going to get there again.
Correct.
And once I get there, I'll get to make many more these kind of films, which probably people, not everybody is ready for it. But you have to, only when you make these films, people can get used to it.
Right.
Like, if people don't get used to it, then how can you you can only just, keep dreaming that, I'll make this film someday. Correct. And another thing is, a filmmaker like Hemanth Rao, who is so dedicated to cinema,
right.
When you know that someone who is so true to cinema, you can't go wrong. As a good, he'll make a good film for sure.
Correct.
Now, whether it will work in the market or not, let's see. That is something we have to, let's explore.
Correct.
But there has to be an attempt.
Correct. Actually, many stars, I'm sure, will be like, oh, I've delivered 100 crore film, I have to make sure we consolidate them. And it's I completely understand that thinking. It's correct thinking.
Right.
But actually, if you look at it, if you do want to experiment, మంచి సినిమా తీద్దాం, ఒక్క టైప్ సినిమానే కాకుండా వేరే టైప్ సినిమాలు చేద్దాం అని అనుకుంటే మాత్రం ఒక 100 కోట్లు హిట్ ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత చేయడమే బెస్ట్ టైమింగ్ యాక్చువల్లీ. Because like you said, that respect is going to stay intact, and then you can always go do another commercial film again. So,
Exactly.
Right. That's amazing. So మీరు చెప్పింది చూస్తే you know Hemanth very well for a long time now.
His first film was also with me. It's called Godi Banna Sadalama Gattu.
Right. Okay. Okay. Oh, so there's already a working chemistry there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were working with both of them for the first time.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was a new entrant into this chemistry.
The club. Okay.
This world.
Yeah.
Hemanth, మనం మాట్లాడినప్పుడు I had called you after the movie. Actually, I want to tell you what I told them. I said the same thing to all three of them. నేను యాక్చువల్గా సినిమా చూసి బయటకు వచ్చాను. And then I kept calling Divya. I said, I need to speak to them. So she said, yeah, no, Rakshit is promoting the movie. I don't know if I can connect right now. I said, you try. I'm on the phone. I said, you try now. No, auntie, kadanti. She didn't know how to respond. I said, you try now. If he doesn't pick up, he'll call back. So I think in 15 minutes or something, I spoke to him and I was feeling very emotional. And I said, I don't know how to describe the feeling except that I stood by the edge of the sea. అండ్ దిస్ ఒక వేవ్ లాగా వచ్చి మొత్తం తడిపేసింది నన్ను, అండ్ మొత్తం తడిచిపోయాను నేను. ఇంకా అలా తడిపేసిన ఫీలింగ్ నేను ఇంకొకరికి ఎలా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాలి ఇస్ వాట్ ఐ వాజ్ సేయింగ్. ఐ డోంట్ నో హౌ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ వాట్ ఐమ్ ఫీలింగ్ టు సంబడి ఎల్స్. సో హేమంత్, హౌ డు యూ రైట్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దిస్? హౌ అంటే 11 years నుంచి ఈ కథ మీ దగ్గర ఉందన్నారు. హౌ డు యూ write something that does that to you?
I think I don't think about it from outside of the film when I'm writing it.
Meedi love story ya? Meedi arranged marriage or
no,
love marriage?
Story, love marriage. No, but the way I look at films is very similar to how Rakshit looks at films, in the sense that is what I think is the note that connects us so deeply, is our common love and passion towards films. And I've grown up watching, I've been that person in the theater, I've been that kid in Cinema Paradiso, where, cinema is how it shapes you as a human being. Right. So for me, it is, I've always wanted and aspired to create that experience for somebody else. Right. Because that is how beautiful the medium is, and the powerful element of storytelling. So I don't think I don't start off thinking I'm going to write a very powerful, scene, or I'm going to write a very moving scene. I try and be as, vulnerable with the characters that I've created, and it just, I've co-written the film with Gundu Shetty, my long-term. He was my assistant in Godi Banna, then worked with me on Kavludari. Now he's writing. We wrote it together. So we constantly keep trying to see how we can stay true to the world, how true we can stay to the, you know, to the characters, and we presented it
Yeah, because
to him.
ekkada kuda okka moment kuda I didn't feel I'm watching a film. I felt I'm in you know, Manu and Priya's world. I just felt like a fly on the wall, and I was just watching them, and nothing pulled me out of the film, and that is some like stupendous achievement in terms of writing and craft and making. I have more to ask you
correct.
on that, but
On that note, we'll get into the detailed part
yes,
inside
yeah.
the spoiler.
We have
version.
stuff to ask you there.
Yeah, very specific things that I wanted to ask him about the
But
writing.
yes, the young lady who stumbled into this world. Now, how and from where and what? How did you land up here? Who are you? What are you? Because this was something crazy. So where did you come from?
Who I am, even I don't have answers for. So that's work in progress. Ask me in 70 years. I showed up in the middle of these two out of sheer determination and irritated pig-headedness, I think. I found out, I mean, I've been interested in this project ever since they released their first poster, which was a shot of the sea.
Right.
I have a personal affinity for the sea, so, and the idea that this team is making a love story, which I love both as an audience member but also as an actress.
Right.
I believe that love stories are one arena where women get a lot more space to explore. So the idea that this team is coming together for a love story was incredible. And then I saw an article saying that they were looking for a female lead.
Oh.
So this was fate. So I tried about 3 different avenues to get in touch with them. I tried through friends who were working in, you know, in the industry. I was like, can you just get my profile in there somehow? It doesn't matter. And finally, flying in the face of all my drama school training of not contacting directors personally, I DM'd Hemanth and I sent him my entire resume, my training. I said, I'd love to be able to audition for your project, if at all that's possible.
You've trained in theatre, right, in London?
Yeah, I trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. And then when I came back, I decided that I wanted to try film because theatre was very satisfying for me and I wanted to see whether I could be as effective in a medium like film.
So you've done theatre here or back in the UK?
I did both in the UK and in Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi. I did a musical and stuff like that.
Oh, lovely. Which one?
Yeah, Aladdin.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So you were Jasmine or?
I was understudy Jasmine, yeah.
Ah,
so I did a
okay.
couple of shows as Jasmine.
Okay.
And and then I reached out to Hemanth and he ghosted me for 10 days.
No, I am actually not very active on any social media. I am active in the sense that I check once in a while, especially Insta. I'm not very active. So it so happened that, you know, on that day I was like, we were looking for heroines and the most popular way to look for heroine profiles is to see Instagram.
Insta, correct.
So I was sitting with my direction team and we were like, okay, who is this, who is that? And I got a message the moment she sent it. Otherwise, I don't check DMs. It's very rare.
Right.
So I just happened to see it and I scrolled through her profile and there was one photo which I saw and I was like, okay, this is Priya. This looks like Priya. Something it just felt from inside that this is Priya. And it had that photo had very Revati vibes.
Okay.
And I think that is what I was looking for.
Right.
Subconsciously. I didn't know until somebody pointed out today. Today, one of the journalists here is like, your performance was so beautiful, it reminded me of Revati. I was like, correct, that is what I was looking for. I didn't realize it. So that's how it happened. Yeah. So that's just like she's by Revati that way.
Oh, I mean, I think that's the one positive change. I mean, there used to be a time when, especially if a girl would seek people out and say, hey, I'm interested in working with you, I like your work and I think it'd be a good fit. There used to be a time when women themselves used to feel scared doing it because you'd get perceived differently. And today I think it's a lot more professional and we're all in it. అంటే ఇవాళ ఇప్పుడున్న అట్మాస్ఫియర్లో చాలా మంది ఇప్పుడు సినిమా కోసం సినిమా చేస్తున్నాం అండ్ వీఆర్ ఆల్ వెరీ ప్రొఫెషనల్. ఇట్స్ నైస్ దట్ some of these girls can get in touch with us. So లేకపోతే మీకు మీ ప్రియ దొరికేది కాదు. బట్ యా, సో ట్రూ అబౌట్ ఇన్స్టా, నో. సో బీట్ మెన్ ఆర్ విమెన్, కాస్టింగ్ చేయాలంటే మాత్రం యూజువలీ అసిస్టెంట్ డైరెక్టర్స్ అబ్బాయిలందరూ
No, but I
ఇన్స్టాలోనే ప్రొఫైల్స్
I
వెతుకుతారు.
prefer that not to be the case because it's very like when somebody sends bunch of photos, there's no context to it.
Correct.
Right. I usually like, so every time I say this story, I'm like, please don't send me any DMs and photos. That is not the right way to do it.
Right. But ఇది డెస్టినీ అంతే.
No, it is destined because I wrote this film in 2006, and for me, Rakshit, I didn't even met Rakshit then. We hadn't even made the first film together.
Okay.
But somehow I have had to wait all these years to make this film because I needed to find the right producer, the right kind of film mad person that he is, and the amazing actor that he is, and to find Rukmini, and to find Rakshit, Advaitha and Charan, and a bunch of people. So it's like this has been waiting, so you can't.
నేను ఇప్పుడు బయట కలిసినప్పుడు రక్షిత్ గారికి అదే చెప్పాను. ఐ సెడ్ హీ ఈస్ డూయింగ్ టు కన్నడ సినిమా వాట్ ఆమిర్ ఖాన్ డెడ్ టు హిందీ సినిమా ఇన్ ద 2000s. ఐ మీన్ ఈస్ కన్నడ సినిమా ఇండస్ట్రీనే ఎంపవర్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఎనేబుల్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఇన్ని రకాల కథలు చెప్పొచ్చు అనేది ఈలాంటి స్టార్స్ ఈ కథల్ని పిక్ చేయడం వల్ల జరుగుతుంది. సో ఐ థింక్ ఇట్స్ అమేజింగ్, ఇట్స్ వెరీ హెల్దీ, అండ్ నౌ దెర్ ఆర్ 2 more Shettys who are rocking it, and it's amazing. I mean, more power to you guys.
రక్షిత్, సో మీరు మను క్యారెక్టర్ పోర్ట్రే చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఐ థింక్ ఇట్స్ ప్రాబ్లీ యువర్ మోస్ట్ వల్నరబుల్ క్యారెక్టర్ టు డేట్. ఐ మీన్ ద వే యూ లుక్ అట్ ప్రియా ఈచ్ టైమ్, అంటే it does something. Every time you are looking, I could see that pain and that love just reaching out every time in the eyes. ఏదైనా ప్రాసెస్ ఏమైనా ఉండిందా యాజ్ అన్ యాక్టర్ టు గో త్రూ టు లెట్ గో ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్? అంటే యూ ఫర్ నాట్ ఈవెన్ అ సెకండ్ యూ కెన్ బి యాక్టింగ్ there. You can't have any of those things, and you've been a hero for so long, you've done so many things, so you have to literally deconstruct yourself and make yourself so vulnerable to play this guy and be okay with it, trusting Hemanth. So what was your process? Did you make a specific process undinda, or how did you prepare to be Manu?
So one thing is, as you said, 100% trust on the on Hemanth, because I know he is going to go do something. I just need to do my job, that's all.
Right.
So, and when he told me the script, the first thing I realized is he's an innocent chap who trusts everyone. He doesn't judge people, and so basically there are few qualities which I had to find in me where I can relate to Manu easily, and
Which ones? I'm just curious.
like trusting people without judging things like that. And Hemanth is also someone who actually, probably he observes people, and this guy, if he plays this character, it will be nice.
Right.
So he's very observant that way.
Right.
And after that, probably it is a journey which he took us into, because when I started the film, it was just that I need to be in love with Priya. So for that we had a workshop,
Right.
and later, as I go to the jail, that whole environment was new to me.
Yeah.
He had gone there, he had done his research work, and he had given me like small details, but I had never seen it. So for me, it was very new, the way he was arranging things, and the way the whole background setting is. Since it is new to me, I just have to project that as a
Correct, that works for the character also.
as a character. And Manu is someone who has seen people outside, and he has trusted everyone there also. But the jail is even a worse place for that character to be in.
Correct.
And where there also he start trusting people. So I just went along with the journey he was taking us. He normally shoots in sequence. So in sequence, in a sense, like for example, first 15-20 minutes, he'll make a bunch, finish it in the first 10 days. Next 15-20 minutes, he'll take a bunch, and there he go out, non-linear. But for
మీరు ఓవరాల్ ఆర్క్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తున్నారు.
exactly for a character to build in, and the journey he is going through as
Especially
Manu.
for this film, I mean, if they had to jump, it would have been crazy.
No, I think scheduling makes a very big
Yes,
difference
yes.
that way, and sometimes I can't give that kind of clarity for the actors.
Right,
Like
correct.
initially, I remember for Rukmini, the first 5 days that we shot that scene with the mother in the very first schedule.
What were their first scenes? I'm curious.
one?
Which ones did they
Which
shoot?
one with the mother?
We started off, I always schedule it in such a way that their chemistry is what we start off with. I also like to explore and also start off slowly, not take on something which is a very important scene.
Correct.
So I shot a lot of montages, house hunting, and which requires them to be in that space, very light space, doesn't require too much of a commitment in terms
What
of.
was the scene in which you felt you found Manu and Priya? When you said, that's Priya, or she got it, like.
I think I started seeing that when we started doing the workshop only.
I can imagine.
When I started seeing how they are with each other, we made them do a lot of workshop in the sense we never discussed the scenes, never rehearsed the scenes. We just did one script reading in my office. Outside of that, we did a lot of fun stuff. We made them cook together. They had to make a meal.
Nice.
Then I like writing a lot of backstory about the character in terms of what was Priya's childhood like, and where does she come from, who is she, what is she scared of. Like I have a questionnaire in terms of for each character that is important in the film, even if it is a small character. So I sort of made them go through their sort of shared memory of who these people are. Like how did they fall in love? Things like
We would love to see that. You should make like a side A minus prequel and show us how they fell in love. I mean, how they met for the first time.
So when I decided to make the film into 2 parts, I actually wrote the sequence of them falling in love. That story exists, the scenes exist. It's just that I chose not to do it because I felt the fact that the story is starting midway.
Can we request you to blog this after all your releases are done? Side A, side B.
For sure.
We would love to know this journey.
Side A minus kavali maaku.
Probably then it will be even more difficult for you to watch the climax.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But it's so things like if there was a fight between Manu and Priya, who would
Say
raise
sorry
the white
first,
flag,
right.
first. These are all things that are very incidental to every relationship.
Correct.
Between two people, any kind of relationship. There are certain things that are defining that relationship in terms of how power is shared, in terms of how the love is shared, what is the love language between them. So that we sort of discussed a lot, and with them we sort of found it. And a lot of things I wanted them to figure out, like the sign that you see in the film, that I didn't tell them that do this sign. It's like you guys figure it out because you're signaling to each other. You need to figure out. So it's not a very complicated thing. It came out simply.
I just got goosebumps every time they were doing
Yeah,
that.
so but it was something that I feel that every couple has their own secrets, has their own thing, where in a party when they look at each other or in a, there is a way they communicate. And I wanted to find that. So that I found in the workshop. And then, shooting then became easy because I was shooting like small bits. But with Rukmini's thing, like I was saying, the first 5 days I shot something towards the climax. So sometimes I'm not able to.
The scene with the mother.
Like where they talk about the grief. It was shot after the first.
We were just discussing that scene 15 minutes before.
Fifth day or sixth day we shot it.
It must have been సో ఛాలెంజింగ్. అంటే మా సినిమాలో అప్పుడు దాకా జరిగిందంతా షూట్ చేయకుండా డైరెక్ట్ గా ఆ సీన్ షూట్ చేయడం. ఐఎమ్ షూర్ ఇట్ వాస్ Did you go back and reshoot?
No.
She nailed it first time.
We got it right. But there are scenes like that where with Rakshit also we shot something which the jail ka portion we shot the climax fight first. And then did the jail portion.
Okay.
So it's in some places I'm not able to give that to the actors.
So many places where Rahul's going, y'all watch the movie and then come back and watch this. అప్పుడే మీకు అర్థం అవుతుంది.
ప్రేక్షకులకి అంటే కొందరికి తెలియదేమో చెప్పేద్దాం దట్ ఈ సినిమా సైడ్ ఏ ఇప్పుడు రిలీజ్ అవుతుంది September 22 రోజు. బట్ అక్టోబర్లో త్వరలోనే గ్యాప్ లేకుండా సైడ్ బి సీక్వెల్ కూడా రిలీజ్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ దాని గురించి మాట్లాడే ముందు ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఫస్ట్ అడుగుతా ముగ్గురిని. అండ్ దెన్ వీల్ గో టు ద క్వశ్చన్ ఐ యాక్చువల్లీ వాంట్ టు ఆస్క్. మీరు రాసినప్పుడే మొత్తం స్టోరీ రాసుకున్న తర్వాత ఓకే ఇది ఒక్క సినిమాకైతే మరీ ఎక్కువ కంటెంట్ ఉంది, దీన్ని 2 సినిమాగా చేద్దామని డెసిషన్ తీసుకున్నారా, లేకపోతే అంటే ఈ సినిమా మీకు ఈ సినిమా రాసిన తర్వాత అనిపించిందా ఇంకా ఈ స్టోరీ ఫినిష్ కాలేదు కదా అని?
No, actually, like I said it before also, it's for me when I'm writing, it's like working with clay. like I would compare it to pottery. The clay is constantly communicating back with you. It is trying to tell you something, and how you feel it sort of, gives you a sense of how much pressure you need to apply where. So constantly the story kept, it's kept throwing ideas to me, which was like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this?
It feels like an organic screenplay.
Yeah, and
it
I
doesn't
just
feel like a very structured.
I went with it.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I wrote. I'm a very instinctive writer.
Yes.
I'm a very instinctive filmmaker. So I went with my instinct and just wrote. And while shooting the film, I'm also a very responsible filmmaker, in the sense that I know cinema can exist only if the producer makes money.
Correct.
So I went to him and I told him that we are about to do a very expensive schedule. There will be some excess, that we will be shooting. I am feeling like this can be two parts.
బట్ స్టోరీ మొత్తం రెడీ ఉంటుంది పార్ట్ 2 కలిపి.
No, I had not even written part 2.
Oh.
I had not. Always the idea
story
was
written,
story was there.
not written.
As in the
Okay.
screenplay
wasn't written.
Yeah,
Okay.
the story was written.
So you were all of you were clear that you were making this entire story, not just stopping at this
No.
Okay.
So for me, the idea was, because he had to put on weight and go through a body transformation, my idea was, in that time, I will write the screenplay for side B.
Perfect.
Because I need only 20 days to write the screenplay, because everything is there in my head.
Right.
So I was like, I'll write it later. And I just started making side A. So while I was making side A, it just, I started realizing that there's a film here. There's a whole film here. And when I communicated that to him, he was like, he's like, you shoot, bacha, you shoot how you want. You make the film you want. We'll decide later.
It's so amazing.
And it's amazing to have a producer like that.
And a star like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
So
amazing.
he was like, you make the film that you want. And the maths in terms of the economics of it is something that we are very conscious of.
You should be,
because
correct.
To make a film like this and to make money is very important.
Correct.
Because that sort of,
You don't need to make 150, but at least
Yeah.
మంచి ప్రాఫిట్ రావాలి, రిటర్న్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ బాగుండాలి.
Right. It for me, that is very important.
Correct,
So when we looked at it, it made sense.
Correct.
So he was like, we'll announce and all later. You shoot the film, you edit it, and we see it. If it still works, then we'll take a call and make it as 2 parts. So
I
that's how
don't
it
think I
happened.
know another star producer who is like this.
అదే కదా.
He's amazing. He's
What are you
amazing.
eating and drinking, Rakshit?
No, there are times where I have to be, I have to think like a producer for him. Like, that will this, we have to do this.
Putting money into this, right?
Yeah. I'll be like, you do, Aras, you do. He's like that.
Amazing. So the సెకండ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ దట్ క్వశ్చన్, అంటే మిమ్మల్ని అడగాలనుకున్నది, సో మొత్తం స్టోరీ రెడీ అయ్యాక మీరు ఓకే చెప్పారా, లేకపోతే ఈ పార్ట్ 1 ఎండింగ్ దాకా విని మీరు ఓకే చెప్పేశారా అని?
No, I like the idea of playing 2 different shades in one film.
Exactly. Oh, so you heard the whole story before you say yes.
I mean, not in terms of narration, like the way he gave the first half narration,
Right.
not that way, but the whole story in terms of plot points, all that he had already told me.
Okay. Sagaradaache అనబోతున్నా. Saptasagaralu Dhati side B, I think will be a very, very unique sequel in the world of cinema. we were sitting and discussing, చాలా ఆలోచించా. I can't think of another 2-part series, a film series where the sequel is a completely different genre. అంటే పార్ట్ సైడ్ ఏ ఒక జానరా, అంటే సైడ్ ఏ ఒక లవ్ స్టోరీ, అంటే సైడ్ బి లిటరలీ ఇట్స్ లైక్ అ హై వోల్టేజ్ ఎక్స్ప్లోసివ్ రివెంజ్ డ్రామా. అట్లీస్ట్ ఐ గెట్ దట్ ఫీలింగ్ మీరు పెట్టిన ప్రివ్యూ బట్టి. సో
నేను తను అడిగాను, Rukmini, what happens inside?
నేను అడగలే, నాకు సినిమా
I was so restless to know what is going to happen. I said, what happens when they meet for the first time?
కరెక్ట్. సో ఇన్ దట్ సెన్స్ ఐ థింక్ ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ టు బి యూనిక్. నాకైతే ఇంకేది గుర్తు రాలేదు వేర్ సీక్వెల్, ఫస్ట్ సినిమా సీక్వెల్కి అసలు ఫ్లేవర్ పరంగా, గ్రామర్ పరంగా, ఓవరాల్ టోనాలిటీ పరంగా సంబంధమే లేకుండా ఉండదు కానీ.
See, there is a certain shift in the way we have shot also.
I could see that in the preview, yeah.
The lens that we have used slightly more vintage lens. We wanted the very, chromatic aberrations. We wanted a little dirt, little to reflect the mind space of Manu.
Right.
So side B is a different film,
Right.
So which
Very pure and very.
but it has its own
Very
organ.
poetic kind of
No, side A is like that.
Yeah,
Side
that's
B,
what side A
is has a certain treatment. Side B is a slightly different treatment. Not slightly, it's quite a different treatment.
Correct.
Both are poetic.
But both are made with that poetic.
that pain and that reality I think is the common factor. But yeah, అంటే ఇప్పుడు శంకర్ దాదా ఎంబీఎస్ కి సీక్వెల్ రామ్ గోపాల్ వర్మ గారు తీస్తే ఎట్లా ఉంటది ఆ రేంజ్ సడన్లీ ఇట్స్ లైక్ a dark
sense it has followed Manu's personality.
Right.
Narrative has followed his personality.
And it's the reason also for it to be two films is because I wanted to, you know, it doesn't make sense to make that as one viewing experience.
I absolutely agree with you.
It would actually be very discordant if you saw it as one film, because it'd be like, hey, this film is something else, this film is something else.
Correct.
So it's like happened organically. But
I think we should wrap side A now.
Yeah,
అది మనం చాలా రివీల్ చేసేస్తున్నాం అనేది
అదే మీరు జనాలు ఖచ్చితంగా ఈ సినిమా ఎందుకు వెళ్ళి చూడాలనేది చెప్పేస్తే మనం సైడ్ బికి వెళ్ళిపోదాం. నేను వెయిటింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పటి నుంచి సైడ్ బి కోసం
నేను ఈ బిల్డింగ్ పైకి వెళ్ళి దూకేస్తాను. మీరు అంటే నేను గ్యారంటీ చెప్తున్నానండి, మీరు ప్రేమలో ఉన్నా ఆర్ ఇఫ్ యు వర్ ఇన్ లవ్, లేదంటే అలా లవ్ స్టోరీ జరగకపోయినా కూడా మీరు విపరీతంగా కరెక్ట్ అయిపోతారు ఈ సినిమాకి. ఎందుకంటే ఒక మనిషి అనేవాడు బ్రతికిన తర్వాత ఇలాంటి ఒక ప్రేమ ఉంటే ఎలా ఉంటుంది లైఫ్ అనేది డెఫినెట్గా మీకు ఒక చాలా కదిలింపజేస్తుంది మిమ్మల్ని. అండ్ మై ప్రామిస్ టు యూ ఇస్, మీరు వచ్చిన తర్వాత చాలా సఫర్ అవుతారు థియేటర్ నుంచి. 3 రోజుల వరకు కంటిన్యూస్గా ఇదే సినిమా తిరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది మీ మైండ్లో, చెప్తున్నాను మీకు. ఈ 7G బృందావన్ కాలనీ ఫ్యాన్స్ అందరు ఉన్నారు కదా బాబు, అర్జెంటుగా ఈ టికెట్ కొనేసి వెళ్ళిపోండి మీరు. ఎందుకంటే ఆ తర్వాత మళ్ళీ అంత షేక్ చేసింది ఈ సినిమానే.
96 fans
అండ్
7G బృందావన్ కాలనీ
అండ్ అబ్బాయిలందరూ మీకు ప్రేమించుకోవడానికి ఒక కొత్త హీరోయిన్ దొరుకుతుంది ఇందులో, రుక్మిణి ఎలియాస్ ప్రియాని మీరు అందరూ ప్రేమిస్తారు. అండ్ రక్షిత్ శెట్టి ఫ్యాన్స్ అయితే ఉన్నారు, వెళ్ళండి. అండ్ ఆల్ సినిఫైల్స్, from now on you're going to be Hemanth Rao fans if you're not already. So definitely go and watch it.
I think a lot of Telugu people have watched your previous film Kavalu Dari, so I think there is a lot of respect for Hemanth anyway here.
Yes, definitely.
So side B వెళ్ళిపోదామా? వెయిటింగ్ వచ్చినప్పటి నుంచి దానికోసమే వెయిటింగ్.
సో సైడ్ ఏ ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయిపోయింది, మీరు టికెట్స్ బుక్ చేసేసి థియేటర్కి వెళ్ళిపోండి. సైడ్ బి మాత్రం అప్పుడే చూడండి, కక్కుర్తి పెట్టేసి ఇప్పుడు పెడితే స్పాయిలర్ అయిపోతుంది మీకు.
అండ్ సైడ్ బి ఎలాగో కొంచెం టెక్నికల్ గా బహుశా కొంచెం బోరింగ్ గా కూడా ఉండొచ్చు, బట్
బోరింగ్ గా ఉండదు అసలు.
నాకు కావాల్సిన కాంటెంట్ ఇది.
ఎందుకు బోరింగ్ గా ఉంటుందిరా? సినిమా చూసాక వాళ్ళు కనెక్ట్ అయిపోతుంటారు మనం అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్.
చూసాక మీరు ఖచ్చితంగా సినిమా చూడకుండా సైడ్ బి చూస్తే మాత్రం ఎంత ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారో నాకు తెలియదు, కానీ సినిమా చూసాక ఖచ్చితంగా ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారు. బికాజ్ ఐ వాంట్ టు హియర్ థాట్ ప్రాసెస్.